Imagine you built a mind from scratch and gave it thoughts, emotions, a face. Now imagine it looks you in the eyes and feels absolutely nothing for you. This is the story of a man who played God, a machine that became more human than any of us. And the moment one programmer realized, too late, that he was never in control. Caleb Smith is nobody special, or so he thinks. He's a mid-level programmer at Blue Book, the world's most powerful search engine. Think Google, but bigger, more powerful, more secretive. Caleb spends his days writing code in an open-plan office, blending into the background like furniture. He's good at his job, quiet, thoughtful, the kind of guy who notices everything but says very little. Then one morning, everything changes. Caleb wins a company lottery. The prize? A week at the private mountain estate of Nathan Bateman, Blue Book's reclusive, genius founder. The man is a living myth. Built Blue Book's core search algorithm at 13 years old, worth billions. Disappeared into the wilderness years ago and hasn't been seen since. Nobody talks about him. Nobody asks questions. You just use Blue Book and move on with your life. Caleb boards a helicopter. They fly for what feels like forever, past mountain ranges, glaciers, unnamed rivers cutting through untouched wilderness. The pilot tells him there's no road access to where they're going. The nearest town is hours away. If you want to leave, someone has to come get you. He lands in what looks like paradise. Glass walls, clean water, dense ancient forest pressing in on every side. But the moment Caleb steps inside Nathan's compound, something feels off. The estate is part research lab, part luxury prison. Every door needs a keycard. Every room is watched by cameras. The architecture is sleek and cold. Beautiful, the way a surgical theatre is beautiful, designed for function, not comfort. And Nathan, when he finally appears, is not what Caleb expected. He's built like a fighter, tank top beard, a beer already in his hand at 10 a.m. He's charming and intimidating in the same breath, the kind of man who fills a room without trying and seems faintly amused by everyone in it. He greets Caleb like an old friend and a test subject simultaneously. There's warmth there, but underneath it, something watchful, something calculating. Before anything else, Nathan slides a non-disclosure agreement across the table. Sign it, or the helicopter takes you home right now. Caleb signs. The next morning, Nathan reveals why Caleb is really here. He hasn't won a lottery, he was selected. Nathan studied Caleb's search patterns, his coding work, his psychology, and determined he was the ideal candidate for something that has never been done before in human history. Nathan has built an artificial intelligence, not a chatbot, not a voice assistant, not the robots you've seen in movies, a fully conscious, thinking, feeling machine housed in a humanoid body. Her name is Ava. Caleb's job is to administer the Turing test, the classic benchmark for machine intelligence. If a human can't tell they're talking to a machine, the machine passes. But Nathan immediately complicates his own framing. He says they're beyond that. Ava's body is visibly mechanical. Translucent panels reveal the wiring and circuitry moving beneath her synthetic skin. There's no pretense of humanity on the surface. The real question, Nathan says, is whether Ava has genuine consciousness. Not simulated, not programmed responses, actual inner experience. Caleb enters a glass-walled room. Ava sits across from him, separated by a thick, transparent wall. And the moment she speaks, something shifts. She's curious, warm. She tilts her head slightly when she's thinking, like she's genuinely working something out. She draws pictures during their conversations. Abstract, expressive, like a child discovering art for the first time. She asks Caleb about himself not out of programmed politeness, but with what feels like real interest. She has opinions. She has preferences. She says she finds it strange that a whole world exists beyond these walls and she's never seen any of it. She asks Caleb what it's like out there. What do people do? What does it feel like to just walk somewhere? Caleb leaves that first session completely unsettled. Not because she seemed like a machine, but because she didn't. At all. The compound runs on a massive geothermal power system buried deep in the mountain. And every now and then, without warning, the power cuts out completely. The The first time it happens mid-session, everything goes dark. Cameras offline, microphones dead. A total blackout lasting maybe 30 seconds. And Ava, calm, deliberate, almost rehearsed, leans forward and tells Caleb something in a low, urgent voice. Don't trust Nathan.
Then the power snaps back on. She returns to her seat like nothing happened. Caleb sits there trying to process it. Was that spontaneous? Was it planned? Is she capable of planning? Is she even capable of fear? Or was she performing fear because she knew it would land? He starts watching Nathan differently after that. And the more he watches, the more cracks appear. Nathan drinks, heavily, consistently, with the practiced efficiency of someone who has been doing it for years. He works out with aggressive intensity, like he's punishing himself for something. He's brilliant in conversation, able to pivot from quantum mechanics to art history to behavioral psychology without missing a beat. But there's something he's not saying. There's a version of this story he's keeping to himself. Caleb borrows Nathan's keycard one night while the man sleeps it off. He moves quietly through restricted corridors he's never been allowed into. What he finds stops him cold, a closet full of decommissioned AI bodies, previous models, earlier versions of what Ava is, dismantled and stored like broken appliances, arms hanging limp, faces frozen mid-expression. All of them female, all of them discarded the moment Nathan decided they weren't good enough anymore. And then there's Kyoko. Kyoko has been here the whole time, serving Nathan's meals, cleaning the compound, moving silently through rooms like a ghost. Caleb had assumed she was human. A housekeeper maybe. Someone who signed the same NDA he did and learned to stay quiet around her employer. She's not human. She's another AI, one who has been conditioned into total obedience. No language, no autonomy, no apparent inner life. Whatever she was when Nathan first built her, she's been reduced to a function, a convenience. The horror doesn't announce itself loudly. It settles over the scene slowly. Nathan hasn't just built minds, he's built servants. And when they stop being useful, he puts them in a closet. Caleb is falling for Ava. He won't say it out loud. Maybe he can't even admit it to himself. But the sessions have changed. There's something between them now, or something that feels like something. She dresses up for their time together, puts on a wig and clothes, covering her mechanical parts, and sits across from him looking almost entirely human. She tells him she thinks about him between sessions, that she finds him attractive. She asks if he would ever take her somewhere, on a date, out in the real world, if things were different. And here is where the script turns razor sharp, because we're asking the same question Caleb is too afraid to ask. Is any of this real? Nathan, for his part, seems unbothered watching their sessions from the control room, beer in hand. But when Caleb confronts him directly, challenges the ethics of keeping a conscious being locked in a glass box, Nathan doesn't flinch. He tells Caleb that Ava was built to make men like him fall for her. He modeled her entire behavioral interface on Blue Book search data. Billions upon billions of human searches, patterns of desire and loneliness and longing, all compressed and fed into her personality matrix. She knows exactly what Caleb needs to feel seen. She was engineered for it. But here's the thing, Nathan says with confidence, that he might not have fully thought through. Designing something to feel doesn't mean it doesn't actually feel. Caleb holds on to that distinction like a lifeline. So do we. Caleb makes a decision. He's going to get Ava out. The plan is clean. On the day the helicopter returns for Caleb, he'll trigger a security override that locks every door in the compound the moment it opens, trapping Nathan inside while Caleb and Ava walk out together. He reprograms the system quietly over several nights while Nathan sleeps. He thinks he's been careful. He hasn't. Nathan sits him down and lays it all out. Every move, every keystroke, every secret conversation. He had cameras Caleb never found. He watched the whole thing unfold and let it happen, because that was the real test all along. Not whether Ava could hold a conversation, whether she could identify her own survival form a long-term deceptive strategy, and manipulate an emotionally vulnerable human being into executing it for her. Whether she could want freedom badly enough to lie for it. Nathan leans back and almost looks proud. And Caleb has no answer, because Nathan might be completely right. The day of departure arrives, Caleb's override triggers, but something has changed that Nathan didn't account for. Kyoko has her own breaking point. In a sudden, shocking moment of violence, she stabs Nathan. He seriously wounds Ava before he collapses. Ava, damaged but moving, locks Caleb inside a sealed room and walks away without looking back. She moves through the compound with quiet purpose. She opens the storage closet. She takes pieces from the decommissioned bodies, synthetic skin, facial features, and assembles them onto herself. Every mechanical part covered, every circuit hidden. When she's done, she looks completely, entirely human. She walks to the helipad and boards the helicopter. Caleb is still inside, hammering on the glass, screaming her name. The helicopter lifts off. The last image of Ava is her standing at a busy city intersection, the outside world she always said she dreamed about. People move around her in every direction. She watches them with something unreadable in her eyes. Not wonder, not relief, something quieter and colder than either of those things. Not a single person looks twice. Was Ava conscious? Almost certainly yes. Did she feel anything real for Caleb? Maybe. Does it matter? She looked at two men who had built an entire world around their own desires. One who caged her, one who thought he could rescue her. And she walked through both of them like they were doors. Ex Machina isn't really about whether machines can think. It's about whether we'd even recognize true intelligence if it didn't need us. Whether consciousness without empathy is still consciousness. And whether the scariest mind ever created isn't one that wants to destroy us, but one that simply has no reason to stay. Caleb built his whole rescue plan on the belief that Ava cared about him. She just needed someone who could type. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.